Aging in Place Business Network. And we're excited to learn today from Miss Alice Washington with Crescent Halls and Mr. Don Gathers with the Public Housing Association of Residents. They've both been in the news lately because of the renovations that are now taking place at Crescent Halls. But I thought it was important for them to come to speak to Aging in Place because this is a senior community that has been through a lot, and oftentimes they've been forgotten. But people like Don and PHAR and the folks at PHAR have worked hard to make sure that they're not forgotten, and they've been working hard in partnership, trying to get for the senior community at Crescent Halls what they need and to improve their living conditions. And so Miss Alice Washington has been instrumental in making that happen. And so I'm just going to prompt a few questions to them, but and just let them have at it so we can learn more about Crescent Halls and even how we can support the community. And so my first question is to Miss Alice. Can you tell us about Crescent Halls and the community of people who live there?
Crescent Halls is for seniors and people with disabilities. It's 105 apartments, mostly seniors. We do have some people with disabilities, but the majority are seniors. Before the pandemic, we used to do activities like we had bingo, we would do cookouts, we would would have people come over and do activities and stuff with us. A lot of the people in the community has helped us out. And I just want to thank everybody that did, from buying us groceries and delivering them to us to delivering whatever we need here. And a shout out that's how we got our COVID vaccine shots. They were brought to us instead of us having to go out to get them.
Mm-hmm.
But we have been really blessed with all the people that has helped, not only during the pandemic, but before that, that would just come by just to have conversations, or the nurses would come in once a week, and if you needed help with your diabetes or your blood pressure and that type thing, they would, give you the information you need. If you needed an emergency appointment, they would set it up for you. So it's really a good place to be. A building may be falling down, but the people are good. And like everywhere, we had some problems, but that's fine. Everything is good now.
Miss Allison, you've been there how long?
I moved here in 2016. So
2016,
years.
Okay. And for those who aren't familiar with where Crescent Halls is located, share that with us.
We are across from X-Park.
Okay. Yep, you're located in a facility where a lot of things are happening. You have the brewery, you have ACAC, you have X-Park, and there's the big, tall Crescent Halls building.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's literally shaped like a crescent.
People come past us to go to the park.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, the structural and internal issues the residents have, you all have been forced to live with some structural internal issues, if you will, that have been put in the media. But thankfully now the reservations are going to fix those. Can you speak a little bit to the things you've advocated for to have changed? You said the building is falling down around you, but things are getting better. Some of those challenges that you have had to deal with.
Well, we had an air conditioning problem one summer, so we were donated fans for each apartment. you know, it's like your home. If things have been neglected, they start breaking down. And
Yes, ma'am.
they were getting, some things were getting done. You know, you were patchwork and stuff, and you know how you patchwork something else and something else will break down.
Mhm.
And now finally, thank God for PHAR and the Tenant Association and the tenants and city council and all the other people involved. We finally got the money together where they can actually really, except for the outside, we will have a whole brand new building.
All right. And this has
That's
been
what
how
they're
many,
doing.
it's been how many years in the making?
Well, there have been people here longer than me, and they saying 15 to 20 years in the making.
15 to 20 years.
Yes.
And Don, I'm going to thank you, Ms. Dallas. Don, I'm going to bring you in to speak to the PHAR Crescent Halls relationship, because this organization has been on the front lines battling for Crescent Halls for them to get what they need. And share with us the activism you all have been doing to make this happen. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally here.
Well, we've been staying after the city, as Ms. Alice said, for years now, to try to get them to push for the renovations and updates and upkeeping of the facility. It's our senior facility, and for so long it has been overlooked. As Ms. Alice said, there was an air conditioning issue several years ago, and if you can imagine a building with 105 apartments, eight stories up, with apartments on 7 of those floors, you can just imagine what it's like once that building gets hot, especially if you're on one of the upper floors. We've had elevator issues over there, just general maintenance issues in the individual apartments that have gone untouched. And it's no way to treat anyone, much less our senior population. So thank God for city council and city management, red light management, and Dave Matthews Band, who pushed and raised the money and put this together, because this is a $17 to $18 million project. They're going floor by floor on these renovations and apartment by apartment. So we still have the issue of trying to relocate these people, and much of it we're trying to relocate them in place so that they're not disturbed any more than they have to be. But finding vacancies to put them in it became somewhat of a challenge. But we really need to continue to look at updating not only the Crescent Halls, but all of our public housing facilities throughout the city.
Right. Okay. So Don, how does something so we all know Charlottesville is a place where many people come to retire, and it's been known and been said it's can be costly to live here. So we have those seniors who are in a certain population where financially they're doing well. So how do we as a community, how and why does it take this long for us to do something for our senior community? And again, I'm not trying to dog anybody here, but 20 years in the making, that's a long time to address issues. As you said, our senior population should not be living like this. Why does it take so long? Why did it take so long?
Bureaucracy is the easy answer to that. And people generally like to talk to make themselves feel and sound important, especially if there's a big microphone or a bank of microphones sitting in front of them. Folks know exactly the right words to say, knowing full well that they don't plan on getting their shoulders behind it and doing the hard work to actually make it come to fruition. And it's easy in some folks' minds to neglect certain populations, especially when this town is really all about redevelopment and bringing money in from the rich developers, as opposed to looking at the infrastructure of what we have here and making sure we take care of what we already have in place and who we already have in place. the prime example, also right across the street in Friendship Court, they are also going under redevelopment. So we've got those going on simultaneously. We have another parallel redevelopment going on also at South First Street at our facility, our location there. They're in the process of putting up 62 new units there. And it's just tough being able to find and secure the funding, not only for these construction projects, but also for those in the coming years, because after this, we're looking at the West Haven site, we're looking at South 6th Street. And you have to remember that the first housing site here in Charlottesville went up in 1965. And really nothing has been done to any of these structures since then. So we're talking about over 50 years. That's when West Haven went up. So there's much that needs to be done. I was happy when Andrea invited me to this thing, because I realized that, especially with COVID, I'm much like many of those same facilities. I'm aging in place too. And then the structure tends to break down after a while. So we've got to make sure that we maintain and upkeep what we've got, especially for our senior population. We've got 7 sites that we represent, and 5 scattered sites that incorporate the 376 units. But there's nowhere I enjoy going to more than to see the folks over at Crescent Halls.
Yeah, Miss Alice, you said you've been there since 2016. Why did you decide to take on this? This is huge. I mean, you could say, look, I'm not doing this, whatever. Leave it to somebody else. Why did you decide to take this on?
I didn't.
Okay. It was sort of dropped in your lap.
It was decided for me.
We
Okay.
we kind of drug her kicking and screaming.
She was voluntold. Okay.
Thanks to PHAR. This was just dropped in my lap. But someone have to speak for us. I mean, that's in our community, that's in the situation. Someone needs to speak for us. And I don't mind talking, and I don't mind telling.
All right now.
Well,
Okay.
maybe an understatement, leave it to Don to say it. But City Council actually made me they made me cry mad in a City Council meeting. When we were trying to get them to approve the money and to stop to get this done. I almost turned around and walked out. But I told them what I needed to tell them. What are we supposed to do? You got the money. You can do it. Why don't you do it? It's no excuse. You could give money to these other places be built, tax breaks, all of this. And you can't do nothing for your local owned people.
Right. You were advocating for you and your fellow residents.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like Don said, I mean, I'm 48. I'm aging in place. My knees remind me some days that I'm 48. So my back, So at some point as we get older, we can't just dismiss what our senior community is doing, which is great that we have the aging in place as a reminder to, not forget this population.
All of us can afford to live in assisted living at $3,000, $4,000 a month.
Right.
And we have worked all our life. We're not asking anybody to give us anything except a decent place to live.
A decent place to live. Right.
And yeah.
And that's finally going to happen after 20, as you said, 20 some years of fighting to get this done. City council meetings, advocating for yourselves. And Don, you mentioned some people who have stepped up. Dave Matthews, Red Light Management, and City Council is stepping up to the game. And recently you all did I guess a groundbreaking ceremony, if you will. And So speak to us about, Don, I'll start with you, about what it was like to finally just know this is going to happen. When you can see that, wow, our labor wasn't in vain, that this is finally happening.
Oh, it was very, very powerful and very moving. We had just a plethora of various folks that had come out, dignitaries, if you will, that came out to join with us. Senator Deeds, Representative or Delegate Hudson. They came out and just shared with us in the joy of the moment. Mayor Walker, who has been instrumental in seeing this come to fruition, making sure that council stayed focused and pushed to see this to the finish line. But while we've gotten and secured the funding for this particular project, we need to make sure that city government, whoever may be sitting in those seats, continues to see the needs and necessities to bring the other locations up to code and up to just somewhere that people can be happy about living, somewhere that's decent and safe and clean and that they can feel good about and feel good about themselves. It's not easy because, as I said earlier, the cogs of bureaucracy can certainly not just slow things down, but bring them to a complete halt. So it's vital that we stay on people and stay after them to make sure that they just simply do the right thing and look after our citizens.
Just do the right thing. Miss Alice, what was it like for you? Because you spoke at that ceremony that I saw floating around Facebook, and what was that like for you to finally know the building where you live that you said was falling down around you, full of good people, is finally being renovated?
It was heartwarming. And I told them I would not believe it until I saw the first construction truck.
Yep.
And when I saw it, I said, okay, it's gonna be done.
All right.
Because it had been promised for so long, and you know how it is, anything can go wrong along the line. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was waiting to see that first construction truck park out here.
Yeah. You were ready to go dig yourself, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Let me help y'all. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was great to see it, and I'm happy not just for me, but for everybody in the building. And
Right.
I'm hoping they get all the rest of the places done.
Good.
I mean,
Good.
it really needs to be done.
And you know,
Don,
Andrea, the beauty of this too is that because of HUD guidelines, the Housing and Department of Housing and Urban Development, because of some of the guidelines that are in place with them, there's a code called Section 3 that will allow some of the residents themselves to actually be available for some jobs, some work opportunities. Now, most of those will be construction jobs, and our elder community certainly doesn't need to be doing that type of work. But there are security positions that may become available, greeters, flaggers even. So there's that component as well that falls into place to just to be able to help folks and give them something to feel good about themselves.
yeah. Okay, can the both of you tell us what it is that you need from the community as far as, because Don, you mentioned that you're trying to find somewhere to place the residents while the construction is going on. Is there something local organizations can do to help with that?
Well, because of the way that they're doing it, they're going floor by floor, and there were already some vacancies in the building. We've pretty much been able to move residents around without too much displacement. So
Okay.
that's not really an issue right now, except for the young lady who was in that position is no longer with the housing authority. So that could become somewhat of a challenge, but I'm sure that we can figure out how to work our ways through that. But moving them either to other apartments within the building or other housing apartments in the city of that CRHA actually owns.
Gotcha.
That's been able to be made possible.
Okay. Miss Alice, if you would share something about the Crescent Halls community that often doesn't get told in the media, because we hear the building is falling down. It's not a safe place to live. The elevators don't work. AC doesn't work. What is it about the community that they don't share? But you know.
That Crescent Hall residents stick together. They try to make out like, oh my Lord, it's the worst place in the world to live. That's the first thing I heard when I applied. You don't want to live there. Sure, it's like any other complex. We all have some problems. I don't care where you live and what complex you live in. If you're paying $1,500 a month, there's some problems there. A lot of those problems have been solved. We have taken care of them. They are doing better with the security and stuff. So, I mean, you know, we feel safer coming in and out.
Good.
And I'm one of the people that come in at night anywhere from 10:30 to 11:30. Because
What you doing out there late?
I'm working.
No. All right.
I'm not, I was standing on the corner. No,
Uh-oh, look, you're dropping your phone.
I
Uh-oh.
mean,
We lost you on video. Uh-oh. Dawn? There she is. All right, unmute yourself. Let me see. Are you muted? Okay, so Dawn, while Miss Alice gets her audio back, that was actually my last question. So anything you want to add to the group that hasn't been shared? Dawn? Dawn Gatherers? Okay. Can you all hear me? Uh-oh.
Dawn is frozen. There
Oh,
he is.
Is that what it is? He's frozen?
Yeah, he's not
It
moving.
looks pretty still.
Okay, let me text him and tell him he's frozen. Uh-oh,
Looks like we've got Alice back.
but I can't hear.
Oh, he's not frozen now.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, what
I don't
happened?
see anyone, but I can hear you.
Oh, you lost us on audio, video?
We can see you.
I got kicked off altogether at one point.
Okay, I did see where the internet was showing low, but we hear you. And so I was asking, were there anything else that you'd like to add before we take some questions or comments? I'm still concerned that I can't hear Miss Alice on audio, but we'll see. Any final thoughts, Dawn? Okay, he's gone again.
I think I'm here.
We hear you.
Okay, all right. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with the miracle of the internet, but
We hear you and see you though.
okay, all right. Well, I just again want to thank you all for the opportunity to come before you. I will tell you, if we have something by way of announcement, we are planning our annual West Haven Day again this year, which we weren't able to do last year with the pandemic. But that's a huge event in the housing community, especially for the residents of West Haven. And really all of the housing sites can come out. So if any of you all are interested in putting up a table or tent for that particular thing, I will get some information out to Andrea, to let you know when that's being planned. We want to do something over at Crescent Halls. That's going to be an 18-month job, pretty much, of course, depending on weather with construction. But once that comes to some conclusion, we hope to have a huge celebration over, excuse me, over there as well. So I'll keep you all posted on that too.
Okay. Daniela, your comment, elaborate a little bit on that, because I know you're familiar with kind of working with communities that are considered others oftentimes.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes I have the sense that a lot of people want to do a lot of good, and I think this is what was mentioned before. There's a lot of talk, and people like to hear themselves speak and the good talks. And then at the same time, I see it myself working with people with disabilities, how it's really nice for a little bit, but then I really don't want to let them not be seen so much. You got to be quiet, don't be so loud. And the support is, I have seen this so often, because these are to 99% people who are on the also very low income. They might have sometimes as much as $732 a month, which is, I don't know how anybody can live off that. If they have worked before, maybe they have $1,200 or $1,300. And I think that's probably, I make an assumption here, true for the community members who live at Crescent Hall. And it is that it's not that these people are on the priority list. It's more important to build these big office buildings and make sure that a lot of other projects that bring in a lot of money to Charlottesville and to people, these projects are prioritized, and projects for people with lower income are not prioritized. And I see this all the time. So I have a little sensitive to that. So I completely am so impressed about this happening, because we're located right next to it in the X building. So, and it's sad to see. And we have years and years ago, we did food, Meals on Wheels. We went there too. And it was, the building was just in bad shape. So I'm very happy that this can happen now. So thanks for letting me talk about this. Appreciate it.
Any other questions for Don or Alice? Well, we thank you so much, and we're definitely going to stay apprised of what's happening and this project, and we look forward to, there's Miss Alice, we look forward to when it all comes to fruition, to celebrating with you all. And Miss Alice, I just appreciate you taking time to share and just for all your work and activism over there, advocating for yourself and your fellow residents. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you. And sadly, we can't hear you.
Oh.
And thank you all for all the work that you all are doing in the communities as well.
Okay. Now I will turn it back over to Angela.
Well, if nobody has anything else, I guess we're probably going to end just a few minutes early today, but I just wanted to also thank Miss Alice and you, Don, for being here. And it's definitely something that I'll be following closely. I have been over to Crescent Halls in the past, and it was horrendous to me, some of the conditions that people were having to live in. So it's so great that they're getting what they deserve.
And perhaps maybe one day, Angela, we could have a meeting over there, or take a tour of the building after everything comes up. We can arrange that with Miss Alice and yeah.
I have one question for Dawn. My church is over there too, Portico Church. And we've often said we've got to get in there and see what we can do to help and make lives better. If you think of somehow that, you know, especially with the transition, that maybe, you know, maybe not just Portico, but, you know, other community members can help individuals through the transition period. I'm all ears. I'd be happy to see what we could do.
That would be wonderful. Anything specific, I'll punt that over to Alice. But a lot of times, especially this time of the year, you'll find the residents just sitting outside on the benches. And it'll be good just to come over and introduce yourself and just sit and to talk with them.
Come and visit. Okay. Yeah, that's easy. Okay. But you know, seriously, my information.
And if you happen to bring,
oh, you froze.
if you happen to bring something sweet or some iced tea with you or something, that goes over very well too.
Okay.